Pierre Auguste Renoir was born in 1841 in the city of Limoges, France. From an early age, he showed a natural talent for drawing and color, soon turning to painting, the art form in which he would find his purest expression. Alongside figures such as Monet, Degas, and Sisley, Renoir was part of the Impressionist movement, a group that revolutionized 19th century painting by breaking academic rules and embracing light, spontaneity, and the emotion of the moment. In his early years, Renoir was deeply influenced by the work of Delacroix and the portraits of Ingres, though he soon developed his own style, warmer, more human. His light and vibrant brushstroke became his signature. Over time, his paintings filled with female figures wrapped in luminous atmosphere where skin seemed to blend with air and colors melted softly together, creating the famous characteristic blur that defines his entire body of work. During the 1880s, Renoir began to suffer from severe rheumatoid arthritis, which deformed his hands and limited his mobility. However, instead of giving up, the artist transformed his pain into a new aesthetic quest. His painting took on a more intimate and reflective tone, with a luminous realism that revealed a deeper understanding of life and imperfect beauty. Renoir came to understand that reality, unadorned, could also be sublime. In his final years, the master continued to paint, even when illness forced him to tie the brush to his wrist. That image, a man bound to art by pure passion, sums up his entire career. An artist who never gave up, who painted until his last breath with moving delicacy and vital joy that transcends the canvas. Notable fact, when Renoir could barely move his hands, a visitor asked him why he kept painting. He calmly replied, "The pain passes, but the beauty remains." That phrase, spoken between trembling brushstrokes, became an eternal symbol of love for art. Today, his works, such as Luncheon at the Boating Party and The Large Bathers, stand as proof as a sensitivity that transforms suffering and color into life. Dance at the Moulin de la Galette. The place is an old mill located at the top of a Parisian hill. The painting shows a social, everyday scene of a Sunday in Paris, where the working class would dress up and go out to dance, drink, and eat it at the moulin. Couples are seen dancing on the floor, while families chat seated at tables, with crystal glasses and drinks. The surrounding trees make the scene feel natural, therefore it conveys a mood of liberation and carefreeness. La Grenouille. It describes a landscape flooded with water. It is about a popular urban swimming spot near Paris, frequented by Claude Monet and Renoir, where they spent time comparing their compositions and practicing the depiction of light on water. They competed to see who would capture it with greater eloquence. Renoir's version is made with shorter and faster brushstrokes, using the colors straight from the paint tube. For his contemporaries, this painting was unfinished. However, today it is considered a classic example of Impressionism, Luncheon of the Boating Party. The work illustrates a group of painters' friends, spending some relaxing time at the restaurant Maison Fournaise, on the banks of the Seine, chestnut tree in bloom. Two young girls at the piano. Renoir was one of those painters who enjoyed recognition and fame during his lifetime. So, in early 1892, he was invited by the French government to participate with one of his works in the new gallery of contemporary artists that would open in Paris, the Luxembourg Museum. Aware that all eyes were on him and the work he was going to paint, the artist chose the theme of the two girls seated at the piano, a well-known subject for him, as he had painted an almost identical painting not long ago, which, unlike this one, shows the girls a bit more serious. That painting is currently at the Musée d'Orsay in France. On the other hand, the version of the painting that we are exhibiting here is at the Met in New York. Woman with a parasol in a garden. To create this work, the artist drew inspiration from the views of his new studio in Montmartre. As soon as he entered the house, the artist was enchanted by this garden, which seemed to him like a beautiful abandoned park. Two Sisters on the Terrace. This painting is one of the most beautiful works of the artist according to experts. It is a clear demonstration of the artist's virtuosity, achieving a perfect execution of vibrant colors applied with different brushes. Flowers in a Vase, 1866. Painting Flowers in a Vase, painted in 1866 by Pierre Auguste Renoir. Work in Impressionist style, it displays a variety of flowers in the traditional French manner. Currently, the painting is located in the National Gallery of Art in Washington, United States. By the Seashore. Se trata de una obra de estudio pintada por Renoir en 1883, por la que utilizó a la modelo Hélène Charigot, la cual convertiría pronto en su prometida y luego esposa. The beach scene in the background was artificially added and is not considered to be any specific one. However, some critics place it somewhere along the Normandy coast. Noirmoutier. Painting Noirmoutier by Pierre Auguste Renoir. Painted on the Atlantic island of the same name in 1892. It displays a landscape of generous vegetation depicted in the Impressionist style. The work is currently owned by the Barnes Foundation in Pennsylvania, United States. Still Life with Bouquet. The painting Still Life with Bouquet, painted by Renoir, was painted in 1871. It is one of the finest works of its kind by the painter. In it, two plant arrangements can be seen, a family photo in the background, and a fan breaking the purely European style of the image. Currently, this painting is on display at the Museum of Fine Arts in Houston. Landscape at the Beaulieu, 1899. The painting Landscape at the Beaulieu by Pierre Auguste Renoir was painted in 1899. The artwork displays an impressionist in pastel green colors, perfect for decorating an elegant room. The painting is currently on display at the State Hermitage Museum, St. Petersburg, Russia. Irene Cahan d'Anvers, Little Irene. Portrait also known as Irene Cahan d'Anvers, Little Irene, was painted in 1880 by Pierre Auguste Renoir. This portrait and two others were commissioned by the girl's father, a well-known Jewish banker. Renoir had previously worked on portraits for Jewish families in Paris. However, Irene's father did not appreciate the work properly and paid very little for it. The painting itself demonstrates exquisiteness and delicacy in the composition, and enhances the innocent and femininity of the girl. The green background of the bush makes the main figure stand out with her white dress and reddish hair. The well-achieved tones of the white dress match the bluish color of the eyes and the hair ribbon. Rocky Craigs at L'Estaque. The painting Rocky Craigs at L'Estaque is one of the artist's most renowned landscapes. It was painted in the rural surroundings of Paris, while Renoir was visiting his friend Paul Cezanne, who painted several artworks inspired by the same landscape. It is currently on display at the Museum of Fine Arts in Boston. The skiff. This sunlit scene on the River Seine is typical of the imagery that has come to characterize Impressionism, and Renoir includes several familiar Impressionist motifs, such as fashionably dressed women, a rowing boat, a sailboat, and a steam train crossing a bridge. The exact location has not been satisfied, but we are probably looking at the river near Château, some 10 miles west of central Paris, which was a popular spot for recreational boating. Renoir's paintings have remained a beacon of art, guiding new artists on how to move their brushes to achieve perfect composition and luminous impressionist color. Renoir's legacy is, without a doubt, the desire to speak through painting.